she said, "Do you have a lipoic acid cream?" I said, "I can make you one, just as a service to a customer." So she told all the ladies who work out with her about George's cream. So I would go to the store and find a list of people waiting. People walk in and leave names and $100 bills. A couple months later, we recognized that as the list is getting longer, people are coming back to reorder. For people to come back, your product must be good.
Welcome, everyone. I'm pleased today to spend a little time with the founder and CEO of Unimed International. They are the makers of our friends Genucel Skincare. It's George Falteos. He has a really interesting story. He's a pharmacist, and I've got a million questions for him. So let's welcome George to the program. George, welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me, Dr. Drew.
So I love your story as a compounding pharmacist. Tell me about George's cream and what happened in,
Right.
I guess initially it was in Egypt and then you came here. Tell me this story. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. So I'm a pharmacist by trade, like you said. I graduated pharmacy school in Egypt some 30 years ago. And I came to the States, did my pharmacy equivalency exam, became a pharmacist licensed in New Jersey and New York. But I was lucky that my internship was at Hickey Chemists, 47 and 2nd, if you remember, in Manhattan, one of the largest compounding pharmacies in the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot of nutrition and compounding there. And then I practiced pharmacy in New Jersey for a couple of years. And then I fell upon it. It was a gift. God sent me a gift to the pharmacy I was working for in a small blue-collar town here in central New Jersey called Colonia. The pharmacy is still there. It's called Colonia Natural Pharmacy, where I was closing the registers at night, and a lady walked in browsing through the store. And I was just, seeing what she's going to end up picking up, but she kept going through the aisles, and I asked her if I can help her with something. And she said, "Do you have a lipoic acid cream?" Lipoic acid is a very strong antioxidant. It's one phenomenal ingredient in any antioxidant.
What year was this?
Man, 2000.
Yeah, so I would say the
April
90s.
2000.
I remember that becoming a thing that people were. That was
the
these sorts of
start of the
antioxidants
nutrition
were
buzz,
on people's
yes.
lips. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
I was just starting, and so I said they don't make lipoic acid creams that I know of. And she was bummed. She's like, "Oh, that sucks. I heard it would be great for wrinkles." And I said, I can make you one, just as a service to a customer. She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Come back tomorrow, and I'll make you one." I went into my compounding department, and I made her a 1% lipoic acid cream. Unbeknownst to me, because I'm not in the industry of making skincare at the time. So I used my nutrition and compounding acumen, if you will, and I grabbed the cleanest base we had at the store. It was a calendula extract base. Calendula, if for your audience, is an extract of, excuse me, the calendula extract is a flower extract native to China that was in the olden times reserved for kings and queens. It's a very, very healing, very smooth, very soft base for skincare. So I put 1% lipoic acid in that, and I added some other antioxidants to it, and I gave it to her, not knowing really how much to charge or anything. I was just charging her like what you would typically charge for a pharmacy compound. And I forgot all about that story. And then 3 days later, her cousin came in when I was not in the store, and she asked for me. And they told her he comes in later in the afternoon. So she said, I will come back. She came back. How can I help you? And she said, "Listen, Phyllis went to the dermatologist, and he thought she had a facelift. So I want the same cream that you made for her." I honestly thought Phyllis and her dermatologist lost something, because no cream. I'm a pharmacist, and pharmacists don't believe in wrinkle creams. And I didn't really believe any cream can take away wrinkles or make them look better or any of that. But the best you can do is moisturize. But I said, that's really cool. I mean, it's, again, I had no financial benefit of me. I said, sure, I'll make you the same formula. Come back tomorrow, pick it up. If she's happy with it, that's great. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Drew, I was lucky, blessed that Phyllis, the first lady, um, was the yoga instructor at the local gym in Colonia, New Jersey. So she told all the ladies who work out with her about George's Cream. So I would go to the store and find a list of people waiting. People walk in and leave names and $100 bills on a list to buy creams. So I would make it, again, without a label, without a name, without anything, just as a service to the people in the pharmacy. And then a couple months later, we recognized that as the list is getting longer, people are coming back to reorder. And I figured you can sell anything once. If you're a good salesperson, you can sell anything once. You've been in this industry for so long, you know how all these fly-by-night brands come in and come out. And but for people to come back, your product must be good. And so I kept my eye on that. And at some point, I decided that there's something there that could be marketed. And that's when I designed, my first label and so on, a long time ago. And then I learned about a friend of mine told me about a doctor who had a show on radio in New York City, Dr. Howard Benedict, who is a nutritionist who has a show to teach people about nutrition. And she said, your product would do very well on Dr. Benedict's show. So, and it did. He got on the air the first spot, and people liked the idea of lipoic acid with CoQ10, no pharmaceutical ingredients, no petroleum byproducts, no preservatives, no pharmaceutical preservatives, no scent, nothing at all that your body does know how to process. Very clean product. And they loved that, the nutrition following of Dr. Benedict. And so we started selling on that spot. And then I learned to contact radio stations and tell other doctors about my products, and they would talk about it, and it started selling. And we started getting more word of mouth referrals than what we would get from radio, really. And then I quit my full-time job a year later, and I started focusing on this and expanding the line. One of Susan's favorite products is the deep firming serum. That we are the only company in the US that has this product. This is a vitamin C molecule that is engulfed in a liposome to make it easier to absorb in the skin. So a lower concentration gives you the effect of very concentrated vitamin C. Otherwise, you cannot use very concentrated vitamin C because it's irritating. So that became a massive hit. And at some point, we outgrew the doctor, small market, and we moved to talk radio. I think my first spots on talk radio were in sometime around maybe latter half of 2000. And we have such good product and good loyalty. We're blessed with that we have been on the same shows since. Probably the longest run skincare campaign on radio, I for sure, since 2000. And then, of course, we went to TV, and then we went international, and then we now on the digital platforms. Yeah,
on digital, it's like the story of Coca-Cola, right? The guy mixing stuff in the pharmacy with the soda fountain, and people like it and go with it.
I was making it at home,
right?
actually. In the pharmacy, we use the pharmacy compounding stuff, but when the business started coming out of the pharmacy, I was making it at home with a spatula, and then the batches got bigger, so I started using an egg mixer. And then the batches got bigger, so we extended the egg mixer. It's really the egg beater. It's very interesting. And then little by little, I found contract manufacturers, and here we are.
So it's just a great story, and I don't have a lot of knowledge in skincare product, but I live with an expert. Her bathroom is a Sephora. I swear to
Yeah, I'm
God.
sure.
And so, and so she does not lend her approval lightly. It you have to earn it. And the one thing I've learned from her, first of all, using Genucel, I've seen what it can do, but I really look to her for guidance because she's encyclopedic on this
Sure.
stuff. Too much, but she either you have a product that is superior, or no one else has it, or dermatologists are peddling the exact same thing at 3 times the price. That's what
Very
I know about your
interesting.
products.
So,
Yeah,
so all these 3 points, if I can remember them, I will tell you, stand out. I have never sent product to talent, uh, because I don't want you to read a spot. If you're going to advertise my product, I want you to like my product because it shows people are not dumb. I respect the audience mind my whole career.
yes, no,
So
yes,
if you like the product you're endorsing, they will know that. If you're using it, they will know. If you don't like it or you don't use it, if you have, I don't want you advertising for me at all. But I
yeah,
learned how good my product is myself. Remember, I told you I thought everybody was crazy who's dropping $200 on a wrinkle cream. I learned how
yeah.
good the product is when I first went to the first skincare conference of my career, which was 3 or 4 years after I started making skincare. And
Hmm.
I started looking
Interesting.
at the ingredients that big brands make, the stuff you find in the department store for much more than what we sell for. And I'm like, no wonder we have this kind of loyalty. No wonder people keep coming back because
That's right.
there's
That's
so
right.
much garbage. Like, first of all bases of skincare, just as a general piece of information, I don't want to go too much into the weeds, but as general information, the most abundant base for skincare in the country, in the world, is petroleum byproducts, paraffin, petrolatum, mineral oil. Now people are
Lanolin.
starting to move to cleaner bases, lanolin. These things are not organic. Your body doesn't know what to do with them. So yes, you get the shine, you get the moisture sealing, you get the beautiful look. But 6 months later, you're having microinflammation deep down in the skin, and you're not really healing your skin. You're making it glow, but you're not healing it. And I recognized very quickly that the ingredients and the base are such a unique combination. And I moved up the philosophy of the company to never make a me too product. I don't make a me
Mm.
too product. I don't make a product that's on the market.
See that we
We're
noticed that.
nimble.
We noticed that.
Yeah, yeah. We're
There are
nimble
people.
enough
There are
that
people me tooing you, but not
all day
still. Who
long
knows if
they
they are
can't
getting right
knock
to
off
it? Yeah.
they can't knock off the base because it's a proprietary base that
Yeah.
was compounded by hand, really. They tried, they couldn't. But the every product I put out has the clinical concentration of the key ingredients. Meaning, if the company that produced that key ingredient, let's call it Matrixyl. Everybody knows Matrixyl is a peptide that helps with collagen boosting. Um, Everybody uses Matrixyl, but they don't use the clinical concentration that's necessary that was used in the clinical study. So they use 1% instead of
Yeah.
3% to save money. And you'll find it on the label, but that's it. When I do it, I do
Yeah.
the percentage that was used in the clinical study, and then I use synergistic ingredients with it. So it's never
Yeah.
something you can find somewhere else, really. And then we have developed
Yeah.
with the. I was fortunate to work with labs that had genius chemists, where we came up with
Mm.
special technologies, new technologies. MDL is our technology that combines
Mm.
fat soluble ingredients delivery system along with water soluble ingredient delivery system. Very unique stuff, and it's hard to explain that in a 60-second spot. But people who use the product understand right away that it just feels different, it absorbs different, it works different, and the results are there. I think I was the only company in skincare that offered the 4-month money back guarantee on a 30-day supply, because nobody
Mm.
returns ours. My return rate is 1%. The industry return rate is
Mm.
8 to 12%. This has been the
Interesting.
case for 20 years. Our customer loyalty, like I told you, is four. I don't remember if I told you that or told your producer, but our customer loyalty is fourfold the industry. And that's why we can offer the package that you and Susan designed for yourself. We can offer that package for the price of one product, basically, because even though we lose money on that first introductory offer, it's tried and true. You put Genucel in people's hands, and they come back, and they don't go away. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a blessing.
Yeah, and all this that you're saying, it kind of excites me, for lack of a better way of saying it, because when I was reading your story, I went, oh, of course, he's a pharmacist. He's using not just a pharmacist, but a compounding pharmacist, and you're using that training and thinking and knowledge base and decision making as you produce these products, and I can see it. I was like, oh, now it all makes sense. This is where it's coming from your brain, and that make a compounding pharmacist. Perfect.
It's
That
a
makes perfect
blessing.
sense.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have the consistency of the same chef for every recipe for 20 years. Obviously, there's the same
But I don't
philosophy,
think
same spirit.
people don't understand. People don't understand. I gave a talk to a board of pharmacy a couple weeks ago, and people don't understand how much training goes into a pharmacist degree. It is a science. It is a extremely rigorous. And then if you're going on to compounding, as you said, it was an internship really you had to do to get good
Compounding
at
is
that.
an art.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's an art. And it's, by the way,
Compounding
I
is
think
an
it's been
art.
kind of under attack lately. And isn't it sort of under
Yeah,
attack now? They're trying to regulate
because
it.
a lot of because a lot of people now that's on the pharmacy side though, not on skincare, because a lot of compounding
Yeah,
pharmacists
yeah,
started like really
yeah,
going crazy. Like so it does.
yeah.
Yeah, but for skincare, look, I'm not going to take credit that's not due to me either. This first formula that launched this company, I lucked out with. I was blessed. It just worked. It's not like I spent 10 years perfecting a formula. It was just a blessing. It worked. People came back, and at every juncture of my life,
Think how many pharmaceuticals. I'm speaking back to your training, back to our pharmacology training. How many things we use medicinally were serendipitous, or just
yeah,
or pulled back from something from
it
ancient
just
time or something. It's just that's the way it is.
it really is. And I also was blessed that like I told you, I graduated college in Egypt, not here. So I didn't know what radio is. I didn't know what TV is. At every juncture of my career, there was someone who pushed me in the right direction. Someone who told me, no, you should call this person. You should do this thing. So there's a lot of people who I owe debts of gratitude to. It's not and this first base is a gift. I
Well,
just so I don't
let's
sound like a
couple
guy
more
who knows
things.
what he was doing 100%.
No. I get it, and I hope people understand. I'd like to know a little more about the history of the calendula. It's fascinating. I mean, you ought to make that it's a thing. It's like, tell me more. It's
It
a
is.
fascinating idea. Yeah.
So I mean, there isn't really much more to say except that calendula extract is a flower extract native to China. It's a very, very old, I think it goes back, usage of calendula goes back to 5,000 years. Um, and it was very expensive at the time, and it was preserved, if I can recall, for nobility use, kings and queens and nobility. Even in Egypt, they would import that to use it. So it's now available. You can get calendula for $2, but not all calendula is created equal. The obviously the
Mm.
mixing of the base and what antioxidants you put in it. Again, if you notice the name of my parent company, it's Unimed International. Unimed stands for Universal Medicine, and that was antioxidants. I still believe
Mm.
that antioxidants hold the key to stopping premature damage to the skin, to our DNA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all my bases, everything we make is based on antioxidants. So even without knowing it, when you use that calendula extract base, you have in it vitamin E, vitamin C, grapeseed extract, lipoic acid at some points, a whole bunch of everything is in that base based on antioxidants, and then the key ingredients for the wrinkles or the puffiness or the black spots or the red spots. On speaking of redness, um, this ultra retinol product that we just launched this year is one of the most fascinating eh, ingredients in skincare, because it gives you all the benefits of retinol, but without any of the side effects. Which I was just telling
Mm-hmm.
Susan and Caleb. that makes it perfect for pregnant and nursing um,
Mm,
females, because it's very dangerous to put something on your skin when you're pregnant or nursing that you don't know what's in it.
hmm
You definitely
hmm
cannot use retinol, and that stands out as one of the best sellers that we have for that reason. It's you get all the benefits of retinol, but you don't get any of the redness or the flaking or the itching or so.
Perfect. Perfect. I mean,
To that
people have
end,
been
to
searching for
them it
that
works.
forever, and here it is.
Yeah, yeah, and it works very
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure your audience knows we stand behind our products. Like I thought 100% all the time. Even if you go past the time, it doesn't matter. Nobody returns anything. The product is that good.
To your point about antioxidants and addressing the oxidative state of our chemistry, I'm so also so thoroughly convinced of that. Whether or not I'm actually doing something, I'm not 100% sure. But I take N-acetylcysteine, I take nicotinamide riboside. I mean, I
Oh,
try to support the NAD metabolism because I think that makes perfect sense to me. That is the core of the sort of cell senescence, really, whether it's your skin cells or your liver cells.
there's no. I don't know if we can stop aging. I think we can try to prevent premature aging. Aging that is due to stress, aging that's due to people not taking care of themselves, aging that is nobody
Yep.
has a silver bullet for aging, right? But we know now that the
hmm
science exists to reduce, to halt premature aging. And
hmm
that's amazing. If you can do that, that's amazing. Your skin's still
I
radiant.
think
You're
I think
even
we're doing a little bit. You're not gonna. I think we're actually doing a little better than that. I mean, you're not going to turn a 95-year-old into a 65-year-old or a 55-year-old. You're not
right.
going to do that. But you can get a 65-year-old to stay pretty steady into his or her
Yeah,
70s with
yeah,
these products. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
and
a, I'm
certainly and
I'm big
certainly
in nutrition.
if you're 40 and you're somebody in a sun exposed region of the world, it is important that you pay attention to this stuff because that sun just accelerates the aging dramatically, and so that's where all the wrinkling is coming from.
I actually think that the screens we stare at all day are probably more dangerous than the sun. We don't even know what they do
Mm,
to us. This is so new
interesting.
that we are constantly,
Interesting.
um, even the frown line. You're just constantly staring at something. We're
Mm,
always staring at something close up. I was just reading a
mm,
study um, that says our DNA, our eyes are not made to stare at things so close. Our eyes are made for long distance, lazy time, if you will, watching. That's why
mm-hmm.
the article was about what people did before glasses came up. I know we're off topic, but the point is that technology is bringing us to a lot of more accelerated damage to the core functions of our metabolism because we're
Mm-hmm.
doing things that humanity never did before. We're working faster, more, longer, radiation everywhere. Yeah, you do
Yeah.
have to protect yourself for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Tell me, did you as an entrepreneur did you hit any potholes, any headwinds?
Oh my God. First of all, I didn't even know what industry I was in. I was a guy who fell upon a wrinkle cream, who was selling wrinkle creams one piece at a time, not knowing where to go. I'll tell you something funny. My first goal when I started selling from my home, I was making it in the kitchen, was to be able to afford the Ford Explorer. So my friend was a dentist. We were young, and he had a Ford Explorer Sport. It was $350 lease a month, and I figured if I can sell just 5 jars a month, I can probably afford the car. And that was my goal. Never thought in a million years that it would grow into this. So during that journey, you can imagine. Here's a guy who doesn't know anything. Talking about the stumbles and the ups and downs and the uncertainty, and it's incredible. It's absolutely amazing how many things you learn. Try and without capital, we uh, we we were not capitalized. We were working off the profit of the company. So yeah, no, the ups and downs of, and I don't think my wife complains about it all the time, and she doesn't want my kids to take over the business because she thinks it's just crazy how much work and how much worry and how much stress it costs. But I think that's also part of the journey, if you will.
Yeah,
If you don't
it's exciting.
if you don't do that, it's exciting in a way. Yeah, it's a lot, but
Yeah,
it's the best party maybe of the journey. It also keeps you humble. It's very difficult to succeed, and it's even much more difficult to sustain that. And
yeah.
I'll tell you, it's fascinating what you were able to do in your career in all these, from radio to TV to digital to that's not easy. People think that just it doesn't just happen. That's a lot of talent, and it's a lot of people help, and it's a lot of hours, and it's a lot of staying up at night. It's a lot.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of
congratulations
not
on that.
sleeping. That's right, and it's a lot of maintaining your day job, so you actually have something, to not just fall back on, but you have something to offer. You have something you're in.
Yeah,
You have a day job
yeah.
that you're
It's a,
speaking from knowledge,
it's a
and
long,
it's
tough,
funny. I
blessed
remember.
journey.
Yeah, yeah, and you do learn a lot, and you do take a lot from other people. And I heard you say a couple times that it was the input of others that really made a huge difference. And many
All the
people
time.
don't know how to listen to other people. They don't appreciate mentorship and guidance is a key component in any endeavor, frankly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I was thinking, even if I was looking at my yard today, I was thinking, geez, if I went out there and threw some seeds down, I still would need the 6,000 years of accumulated agricultural knowledge that I could get access
Yeah,
to easily now online to help me understand how to do this.
yeah. We have a mentorship program here at Unimed. I prefer to have my management and as a philosophy to have grown up in the company, because I stand for
Mm,
certain philosophies of value, that everything has to be done for a good reason. You don't do something because you hate someone. You do something because you like someone. You don't do
hmm.
better at your job because you're afraid of getting fired. You do better at your job because you love your job. So there's a little philosophy where people are responsible for every facet of the business, no matter what position they're in. In return, they get that environment where they're secure and they're safe, and they can go on and make mistakes and fall fast and fail quick and get back up. So I'd rather my executives, my managers, every department manager to have grown here. And to that end,
Hmm.
that doesn't mean you can't bring talent from the outside. Of course, every now and then you need to bring talent from outside, new thought, new ideas. But the people who are carrying the ship day to day, generation to generation, have been with me for over 15 years, and their average
Mm,
ages are still 30 something. So they started out of college, and I have a 3-year program where I can't teach you what I know. You can just sit next to me and watch, and we'll learn together for the next few years. And it takes a couple of years. And those who believe in it ended up becoming executives, C-suite. They just
incredible.
came
I
out of
think
they just came out of college.
be,
Yeah, and they
be
stay. I
careful
mean, people stay.
after people hear this. You may have people running after you for those internships because that's
It,
the word will get out.
I look for people who are who want to work and want to learn. That's it. It's not
Mm,
really that hard. I'll teach you everything you need to know.
amazing,
But if you don't want to
amazing,
work, I
Susan.
can't help it.
Yeah, that's we can't. It's generally the
Yeah,
case. Again,
yeah.
it's such an old school practice of business, and I love this. And Susan, I wonder if you have any questions for George,
Oh,
because you're in deep.
I
She's
wanted,
the chemist in this household when it comes to
I
skincare,
know.
yeah, I
She
am. I
already
am.
made a couple
and
of.
she
I
and
think
she's a
it's good.
snob,
Oh no,
and she's a
she's sweet.
snob. She's a skincare snob, and everybody knows it.
I am a
That's
snob about the products that I
She is
use on
a
my
snob.
face.
She is. That's
she
an
already
honest appraisal.
she already gave me instructions before we got on the air. She wants
Yes,
changes to her
yes.
package that we put together, and we are obliging as we speak. Yeah, but Susan did.
Yeah, and
Go ahead. Yes.
I was asking about the ultra retinol,
Mm,
and you described the fact that pregnant women can use it. It does work great. It doesn't make my skin peel, and it mixes very well with all the other products that I put my products together. So what I'll do is I'll put on the serum first. The vitamin C is my favorite during the day, and then I like the hyaluronic at night because it's got a little lactic
Now
acid in
you
it.
were using the vitamin C sort of around your eyes at one point. Are you using it all over your face?
All over my face, on my décolleté, my neck, my
It's
arms. You
really
can put it everywhere.
3 drops. It's very little. Yeah, you don't need to use a lot of that. The deep
I
firming serum
smear it
is
everywhere.
great. Yeah.
I have a lot of skin.
That's going to be the next ad.
that-
I smear it everywhere.
No, I do. I even put it on my
That's
legs
so
where I have
funny.
kind of dry skin on my legs, you know, and I put it there. I also use
I want people to take a note. I've never heard you so consistently enthusiastic about a product, because you're always just moving from one thing to the next thing, and this is something I know you. I know you mean what you're saying here.
Right. And then I use the retinol cream on top of it at night. And then I use during the day, I use the XV cream on top of it. And because I thought there was retinol in it. So I guess you don't want to use retinol during the day because it burns off in the sun. So, but
Especially
now
in the
that I
summer,
know
yeah.
that it is, but now that I know it's not retinol, I can use it in the morning as well.
It is
The new
the ultra retinol
That's
is
good
a
cream.
big
We
hit.
were-
People
Dr. Kelly
love
loves it too.
yeah, oh, she does.
They-
That's right.
Yeah, it's
So
really
it's
good.
one
It's
of
in
our
a
biggest
pump,
sellers
so you
now.
don't have to. I like your packaging because it's in a pump, and I don't have to open it up and stick my finger in there and contaminate it. You know, because
And
I
the
like
new
pumps.
tagline is, "I'm a snob and I smear it all over."
Yeah, that's
No,
great.
I
You
use it
can't
every
actually
day.
write
I've
that
used
in
it up.
copy, right?
No, you can't come up with that.
No,
couldn't have.
I literally, I actually, you know, I felt so great that you sent us products, but when I ran out of the vitamin C, I actually bought some and somebody said, "Hey, don't pay for that. We'll send you some more." But I literally went online and I bought some because I ran out, and I didn't want to ask because, you know, you guys are so gracious to give us the testers, but
Never run out
I
of
literally.
product.
I buy all the products that our sponsors
Well,
give me.
which
You know, I
is
don't
nice.
expect
Yeah.
them
We
to
want
really,
your
send it
we
audience
with.
really
to know.
try to.
I want your audience to know that Susan put together her own package. Like when it says, like the Dr. Drew page on our website, where there's the Dr. Drew package, and there's her own pack. She picked the products and she just gave us instructions to change one for one. It's a very interesting thing. And people tell
Yeah,
me,
because
you know,
we
when
had the same skin cream in our. Yeah, he
when we
uses
first started,
the redness repair because he has very red skin.
Hang on a second. I want to hear this, George. What's that? When you first started?
when I first started making this stuff and insisted on using the top of the line everything and every cream and every serum, people were saying, "Don't you feel that it's too expensive for the market?" So my answer was always, "Look, the most expensive skincare you used is the one who didn't work. The one that didn't work for you is the most expensive skincare you've ever used." But
Yes.
to go mass market, we invented this. How do you give luxury skincare, very clean skincare, at less than department store prices? How can you so what we did is these packages, because you get the 5 or 6 best sellers that we have at any given time, based on the surveys and based on the launches and so on, for pennies on the dollar to try. So again, once you try the product, you'll understand. And you can pick your own products after that. You can come back. We always run discounts and stuff. But I think so a product like Ultra Retinol can never be, you can't talk enough about it. The deep firming serum, you can't talk about enough. The XV, you can't talk enough about. There's so much in the products. But how do you get someone to try all these without spending a fortune? And that's why we have these introductory packages, first-time buyers. You can, the stuff is almost 70% off.
Talk a little bit
and
about
they all work together. You don't have to go, "Oh, is this going to mix with this?"
Yeah.
Right.
Is there going to be a?
I want to hear a little more about the XV, though. Tell me about what you're thinking there with that product, because I understand it.
So, Esotique XV or Genucel XV, the XV sign went with me from my first line ever, which was called La Magie, to Esotique. to Genucel. It is the base cream in every package. The cream that you use as a moisturizer, antioxidant, anti-wrinkle, um, uh, general anti-aging cream. It's fundamental in the package, if you will, because it has the basic combination that I told you about from the beginning: the calendula extract with the grapeseed extract, the vitamin E, the calendula, the aloe extract, and it also has matrixyl, and it has um, we use, instead of pharmaceutical preservatives, instead of parabens, we get a preservative from France that's natural, that's made out of 2 natural amino acid. Um, it's more expensive, but it doesn't cause the irritation. So again, it's very hard to cover all the technology and the formulation that's in one item. That you can spend, the whole show talking about how one item fits.
Right.
You can't
Sure.
explain that in one
sure.
show. You can't explain that on one website. You have to really try the product. But the XV, in my opinion, is a product that outlasts every other technology. We move on, and when something new comes up, for example, a better peptide, we'll use a better peptide. But the XV stands for that base, rock of your skincare builder.
Got it.
Does
Well,
this
listen,
answer?
George, I appreciate. Yeah, it answers. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we certainly could go in and do a chemistry lecture, but I don't think people really want that. I'm interested. I think it's fascinating what you're doing, but I just want to tell you, it's a privilege to be a part of the operation. We're
Yes,
so
thank you.
Yeah, we're really excited about the products
We are
and stuff,
humbled
and
by
you guys have been
liking the
great. And
product. Yeah. By the way, we have
but
a
I'm
new launch I'll tell you about before we finish. I'm going
to finish gushing. Before you do, I want to finish gushing, which is I did not know you, but I'm not surprised you're who you are, and based on what the company is and what the products are and the interactions we've had with them. So it sort of completes the picture for me. So thank you for including in your operation.
Thank you, sir, very much. No, I wanted to. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. We're in New York. If you come to New York, just give us a holler.
Yep.
We'll go to dinner.
We're there all the time.
But I wanted to tell you that we're launching a hair follicle stimulator for hair growth that is also a massive success. We had the line.
Susan wants it.
I know.
Before
I need
COVID. Yeah, it's called Provia. You're going to hear about it soon. I think we're going to send you some. I think it just came out of the lab, the last batch, and I think it's proved so far to be.
So this is this also, is it like Rogaine where it prevents loss of hair, or is this actually stimulating hair growth? Yeah. Is it is it a testosterone type stimulant or no?
No. It's called Procapil. Yeah. It's a natural ingredient made by a French company, $1 billion research company called Sederma, French company. They go to the Amazon, they go to all these exotic places, and they find active ingredients for the industry. And Procapil, basically what it does, it works in 2 or 3 different mechanisms. It stimulates the follicle growth, it blocks DHT, and it gives you improves circulation, reduces follicular damage, and blocks DHT, as opposed to Rogaine, which is a prescription drug that has a lot of side effects. Some people stop using it because of that. We found that people who got on Provia launched the first line, I think, in 2013. They just don't get off of it. They see the results and they stay with it more than, I would say, even more than skincare, because there is not many substitutes. There's a lot of skincare on the market. There's very few products that can keep your hair from falling out and actually work.
Yeah. Well, listen, we are ready to go. We're ready. Susan's ready to try. She started waving behind the computer there when you brought up the product.
You gotta hook Susan up with some of that stuff, man.
I'll be your tester.
So, and God only knows what sort of aphoristic report we'll have back from her. It won't be snobbery.
I hope it's a good one because she doesn't shy away. Yeah.
Tell him why I have hair loss.
So she takes hormone replacement therapies, and one of the hormones she takes that has often been left off of the menu for women, which is testosterone, and it has made a huge difference for her in many different ways, medically and otherwise. But she had the one side effect, which is male pattern balding. Her dad was very bald, and the women with dads who are bald tend to get that. And she's been using Rogaine and other things, and everything's kind of holding up and getting the right balance in testosterone, so it's not doing that. But a DHT blocker would be perfect. So here we go.
I hope that works for you. Yeah. That would be great. I can't wait for your feedback on that too. That's great.
So,
I'm a good tester.
I'm a good tester. That's where she'll start from.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Good tester. All right, George. I guess we're gonna, Susan. We're gonna post everything where people should go as on the heels of this, right? We don't need to really.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, George, I will just say thank you for being here. It's been a real privilege.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We are here for you, and I hope my audience understands how enthusiastic we are about this. And I'm sure we have. Well, I know they're enthusiastic too. I've some people get to me through locals that are in all over the world, and they rave about it. And then they want it. They have trouble getting it in some countries, and we have to get through special hoops to get it, and they get it. And they're happy that they did it.
If you have that kind of rapport with your audience, it would be a great idea to ask them to send you feedback. Those who use the product, and just.
Okay.
Instead of coming through us, the testimonials,
tell
the story to everyone.
So send them
for a better sport. Yeah,
you can send them in through local Dr. Drew.
No, I will send you
locals.com
on our website. But have your audience send you testimonials to you and Susan and read them, so it's more organic.
Or contact at drdrew.com.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's drdrew.com/locals or contact at drdrew.com. Send us your thoughts there. And George, hope we'll talk to you soon. We'll try to look for you. We'll track you down in New York.
Thank you very much. Yep. Good luck to you.
Everybody.
Thank you, Susan, so much.
Thank you, sir. We'll see everybody next time.
Later.